Start saving for your golden years with a Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock. Coming up in the news at 7, government declares Jamaica hurricane ready. Beryl barrels through Eastern Caribbean, and agencies ready as can be ahead of Hurricane Beryl.
Also in the news, vulnerable groups a priority amid Jamaica's hurricane preparations. New Western Children's Hospital to complement Bustamante Hospital. And in sports, Amir Halgrimson resigns as head coach of the Reggae Boys. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Curlin Brown. It's Monday, the first day of July 2024. Thanks so much for joining us for what will be a shortened broadcast to make way for our continued live Copa America coverage. Well, we begin with Beryl, which has already made history as the earliest Category 4 hurricane on record and the first June major hurricane east of the Lesser Antilles.
Now initially reaching Category 4 status on Sunday, Beryl briefly weakened but regained strength, posing a significant threat to sections of the Eastern Caribbean. Ramon Gordon spoke with locals in some of those countries.
Jamaica is bracing for the menacing Hurricane Beryl, expected to impact the island on Wednesday as a Category 2 system. The government issued a hurricane watch early Monday, after Climate Minister Matthew Samuda on Sunday urged Jamaicans to be proactive.
The trucks and the varying models, I believe 12 models have shown it interacting with Jamaica at some level and some degree. It's not a time for panic, it's a time for preparation. This preparation will not be wasted. Whatever you invest in this preparation will benefit you should the storm impact us negatively.
Residents in the Eastern Caribbean have already begun to feel the effects of the storm. Earlier today, CVM News received an exclusive update from a source at the Trinidad Express newspaper. In a written note, reporter Vishana Fagu shared that light drizzles began at 5 a.m., with rain periodically strengthening and weakening as the hours progressed. CVM also spoke with Kajan Hines, lead editor at Guardian Media in the Twin Island Republic, who gave an update from Port of Spain.
Right now it's overcast with a slight rain, but nothing too bad. In Tobago, the winds are a little bit stronger. Rains are still coming down. Trinidad Defense Force would have sent out some soldiers from Trinidad to Tobago to make up the contingent just in case anything happened. But all things considered, it seems as though the worst has passed.
The government in Trinidad has put its troops on standby should any other islands affected by the storm need assistance. Over in St. Lucia, there are reports of property damage.
Right now we have winds and we have a little bit of rain. Some persons has lost their roof. There are some areas where we have a little bit of flooding, but it's nothing so major. I could tell you about the other parts of St. Lucia, like the south, which is in Soufrière, Labrie. Yes. We have a lot of rain and a lot of heavy winds. However, there is not any loss of life reported yet. We're hoping that it stays that way.
Here in Jamaica, preparations are advancing with authorities urging residents to prepare for the worst. The Prime Minister, at a press briefing earlier today, urged Jamaicans to brace for heavy rains, floods, and accompanying utility outages. Onus says all relevant agencies are on high alert, and he's urging Jamaicans to follow suit. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
As you were told, the Jamaican government is assuring the nation all is ready ahead of Hurricane Beryl, which is expected to impact the island by Wednesday. At a press briefing on Monday, the Prime Minister asserted despite projections, Jamaica is well equipped for the storm. Courtney Lewis picks up that story.
The government is ready for all possibilities. That's according to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who assured the nation in a press briefing on Monday afternoon that the relevant agencies are on high alert for impending Hurricane Beryl, which is expected to make landfall early Wednesday.
There is a legislative framework which guides the government's preparation, and that framework is called the Disaster Risk Management Act. And at the beginning of the hurricane season, we called together all the entities that have anything to do with disaster preparedness. And Minister Mackenzie has already mentioned that the various committees under the Act have been initiated. So we're following that legislative framework, and we have put in place the various committees.
The Prime Minister says some emergency services may become unavailable once the system makes landfall. However, Holness is confident his government has the capacity to respond should the need arise.
We are in touch with the commercial trade to ensure that we have sufficient stocks in place, that persons can be able to at least have access to food and water after the hurricane has passed. As you would have heard from the relevant entities, that we have, Minister Vaz, remind me, is it 14 days of supply of fuel? We have 2 weeks supply of fuel. Our telecommunication services have been investing significantly in improving the resilience of their hard infrastructure, and we expect that they should stand up. But if there is any disruption or a break, we are pursuing alternatives to ensure that we are still connected, particularly for government entities.
ODPEM's acting director, Richard Thompson, is as confident. He revealed that close to 900 shelters are in place to support displaced or unhoused Jamaicans, with more preparations now underway. Meanwhile, Holness is making a plea for Jamaicans to take Beryl seriously.
At this point in time, I am encouraging all Jamaicans to take the hurricane as a serious threat. It is, however, not a time for panic. It is a time for us to be very strategic and calculated in our approach. We have 48 hours in which to prepare. Within that 48 hours, a lot.
Citizens are being urged to make the necessary preparations to protect themselves during the passage of this weather system. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
Meanwhile, the nation's most vulnerable are also on the government's priority list. Local Government Minister Desmond Mackenzie says the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is taking the necessary precautions to safeguard the homeless population and other special interests.
Island braces for Hurricane Beryl. Minister with responsibility for disaster preparedness Desmond Mackenzie says the government is making efforts to rescue the homeless population and relocate to infirmaries if the need arises. The minister was speaking on Monday at a press conference in light of Hurricane Beryl's recent travel through the Eastern Caribbean. He reminds one hospital is located in Trelawney and the other in St. Anne. He adds that the municipal corporations under the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, ODPEM, has initiated steps to help vulnerable groups across the island.
All our municipal corporations have been making arrangements to transport the homeless population wherever we can find them, to whether our drop-in centers or infirmaries or schools that have been identified right across the country. There are some critical areas that we have identified where persons who are physically challenged are living. We do have a list, and Minister Charles earlier today spoke about that, but the municipal corporations have now issued instructions that these persons must be found, and the necessary arrangements are being made to take them to the necessary locations.
The ministers also urging the public to work with the various government personnel as they carry out their duties. Hurricane Beryl is expected to pass south of Jamaica on Wednesday. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And following criticism over the government's communications apparatus, Minister Mackenzie says the country now has a state-of-the-art system in place, an initiative spearheaded by OTPEM and co-financed by the governments of Jamaica and Japan.
I must say to the country that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management will be able to communicate to the country during the period of the hurricane, after the hurricane. The communication system that was jointly funded by the Japanese government and Jamaica will be fully utilized during this period of the hurricane. I think this is a game changer for Jamaica. It's the first time in the history of Jamaica that we will have a telecommunication system that will cover the entire island during, after, and going forward.
Other government agencies are also indicating readiness. The National Works Agency, NWA, and the National Water Commission, NWC, have even decided to lift restrictions. Trisha Gay Kelly has more.
It's better to be safe than sorry. And so two of the country's major infrastructure agencies, the National Works Agency, NWA, and the National Water Commission, NWC, have put strategies in place to assist citizens should Hurricane Beryl strike the island. One of the biggest concerns is drain cleaning. NWA CEO Everton Hunter says cleaning began over a month ago, including the Sandy Gully.
We started our drain cleaning activity in May. Each constituency was voted a minimum of $1 million to undertake drain cleaning, and those activities started in May, as I said, and are continuing to this day.
Speaking of drain cleaning, he notes that flooding is also dependent on the capacity of the drains. Hunter says flooding is expected in corporate areas, including Marcus Garvey Drive, which hosts water from a variety of areas.
You know, we are really realistic. The intensity of the rains that are anticipated will overwhelm the capacity, the existing capacity of the drains in those areas. So some flooding will be expected, and we advise the public to adhere to the warnings being given by the various agencies.
The agencies have advised citizens to prepare as much as possible, and to aid this preparation, the NWC has lifted some restrictions.
In addition, our ongoing water restrictions, we have lifted all the restrictions island-wide to ensure residents have opportunity to fill their storage as of tomorrow morning. And finally, we at the NWC, we will be with you, the citizens of Jamaica, during this period, and we will weather the storm together.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And a quick update for you in news just in the cabinet on the advice of the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond Mackenzie, with the latest recommendation from the Met Office to move Jamaica from a hurricane watch to a hurricane warning, will structure its disaster response to Hurricane Beryl under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Now, the Disaster Risk Management Act grants additional authority to coordinate and execute a range of emergency response activities. Prime Minister Andrew Holness continues to emphasize the importance of taking proactive measures as Jamaica braces for Hurricane Beryl. The main priority, he says, of the administration at this time is the safety of the Jamaican people. By invoking the Disaster Risk Management Act, we're taking a proactive stance to prepare and protect our nation against any potential threats posed by Beryl. The machinery of government has been mobilized, and we are ready to respond for any eventuality. He continues, we will weather the storm together. The Prime Minister says the government urges all citizens to remain vigilant, make the necessary preparations and cooperate with authorities during this period. Regular updates and guidelines will be provided to ensure everyone is informed and prepared as the weather event approaches.
And in other news, construction on the Western Children and Adolescents Hospital in Mount Salem St. James has resumed. The estimated completion date is June 2025. Although the building is incomplete, staff say they are ready and raring to go. Trisha Gay Kelly picks up this story.
Despite much backlash from the opposition and other stakeholders about the Ministry of Health and Wellness's performance, the ministry, as stated by Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, is improving. One of its latest projects is the resumption of construction at the Western Children and Adolescents Hospital in St. James. Though the estimated completion date isn't until another year, clinical coordinator at the Western Regional Health Authority WRHA, Dr. Delroy Frey, says employees are already in place.
Currently at Cornwall Regional Hospital, we have 6 trained pediatric medicine specialists, 2 trained pediatric surgeons, and other people who work neonatal service within the confines of Cornwall Regional Hospital.
In 2023, the Bustamante Hospital for Children in Kingston had 8,891 admissions. It's currently the only functioning children's hospital. With the new hospital, the figure is expected to decrease.
For those patients who would access Bustamante Hospital for Children, which is an hospital that goes up to 12 years old, Western Child and Adolescent would then take those persons from this side of the island and therefore give Bustamante Hospital for Children more space and focus on that side of the country.
It will also reduce admissions to the Cornwall Regional Hospital CRH. Recruitment for additional staff is now underway. Along with local employees, Dr. Tufton says recruitment will be extended internationally.
While we are building out, with another year or so to go, we have also, on a parallel track, been planning for the staffing of the facility. This is the right thing to do, and I want to reassure the public that that is in fact being done.
The projected completion date is June 2025. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And just before this quick break, we look at what people are saying on social media.
Rain, go away. Jamaica was placed under a hurricane watch by the government at 10 a.m. today as the island prepares for potential tropical storm activity. Here's how our fellow Jamaicans are reacting to this news. At Strictly Queen G writes, okay, I'ma take Beryl serious now. At Barrico 11 says, this is unprecedented, bro. If it hits Jamaica, it will be the first hurricane to strike us in July. At Alicia Carby Scarlett shares, send money to everyone for prepare cause enough no have it. At Jabba_Wellington warns, please prepare. She's behaving like Gilbert did. Do not take this lightly. At Wazoom asks, so how work still a keep? And that's what's trending online today. Be sure to keep us in the convo. I'm Trisha Gay Kelly.
Sure we can. We never see a boil up patty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, that I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating over 40 years of everyday moments.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school, and now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less, or 2 or 3, at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
I love football, but I don't just play for me. I do it for Jamaica and for the fans on the journey with us. The ones who live for every shot and cheer every goal. The ones who know that performing on the big stage means big effort with big support. And of course, chicken with big flavor.
KFC's big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries, and a drink. The perfect fan fuel for cheering on or history-making reggae girls. KFC, proud sponsors of Khadija Shaw and the Reggae Girls.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school, and now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less, or 2 or 3, at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Good evening and welcome to sports. My name is Angelique Virtue. Jamaica's Reggae Boys suffered a 3-0 loss to Venezuela in their final Group B match at the Copa America tournament in Austin, Texas on Sunday. The Reggae Boys, competing in their 3rd Copa America tournament, finished at the bottom of Group B. The game was also the last for Heimer Hallgrimsson, who resigned following Sunday's loss.
Comes back to Segovia again. He spreads it wide to Aramburu. He curls it back post. Bello scores! They only need a point. Now they have a lead. And lots of space now for Herrera through the middle. And here's Rondon. Solomon Rondon. Rondon! It's in! Vino Tinto delight. They double their lead. 2-0. So the total shots now twice as many in favor of Venezuela. And through is Eric Ramirez. The flag is down. Eric Ramirez finishes it off for Venezuela. Limbs all around the stands. 3-0, Vino Tinto.
Meanwhile, following Jamaica's 3-0 loss to Venezuela, Heimer Hallgrimsson officially announced his resignation as head coach of Jamaica's senior men's team. According to a press release from the Jamaica Football Federation, Coach Hallgrimsson communicated his decision to the JFF president, Michael Ricketts, as well as to the players earlier on Sunday.
Thinking back now after the loss against Venezuela, maybe not 100% ready, but a lot to learn from this experience. Good opponents, intensive games, first 2 games down to margins, and you need to fight for your margins. And this will be a good experience for the players, for the coaching staff, and for the federation. I have decided to step down as the national team coach for Jamaica. That was decided prior to the tournament. I had a good conversation with the president prior to the tournament and told him that was my decision to do this. So it's nothing taken because of results or something. This was pre-decided. Maybe I would say in my mind a few months back. So this is all done in good relationship with the federation, and we depart on a good note. This project is I think improving, and is always a delicate project, the Reggae Boys, and we need to protect that going forward. So all on good notes, and I wish Jamaica all the best in the future, and I will be the first guy up in the stand when Jamaica qualifies for the World Cup, I will wear my Jamaica shirt and be the first guy the players will see in US when the World Cup starts in 2026.
I'm sure over the last 2 years or so.
Just a reminder to our football fans that Fan Central continues at 7:30 with a preview to that crucial Group C encounter between the United States and Uruguay. Tournament hosts, the United States, are on the brink of elimination from the tournament unless they are able to produce a victory against Uruguay, while hoping that Bolivia is able to get a favorable result against Panama. That matchup between Panama and Bolivia can be seen live at 8 p.m. on CVM+. To the Euros now. France advanced to the quarter-final round of Euro 2024 in Germany after clipping Belgium 1-0 on Monday, the winner coming via an own goal in the 85th minute. Their opponents in the July 5 quarter-final will be Portugal, who advanced after a 3-0 penalty shootout win over Slovenia after their encounter ended scoreless after regulation and extra time. All right, well, that's the time we have this evening. My name is Angelique Virtue, and that's it for news this evening. Fan Central is up next. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Angelique Virtue.
Previous group game, CONCACAF hopefuls Costa Rica will aim to lift themselves for another push towards the knockout round. Standing in their way are potential spoilers Paraguay. See the action unfold this Tuesday as Costa Rica face Paraguay, live at 8 p.m. on CVM+. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks. Fitness, brought to you by Your Plate and Nature Valley.
Two teams showing glimpses of title-winning form will go head-to-head in full combat. Brazil, yet to confirm their spot in the knockout round, will on Tuesday face the high-riding Colombia. A cracking final match of the group stage. Brazil against Colombia, live Tuesday at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
John Mark!
Celine, where you going? You can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take out the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah. And the people, them accept it. Clarendon, Mandeville. But now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
Now facing early elimination, tournament hosts the United States must now create a major upset at the Copa America. Standing in their way of a place in the tournament round is the free-flowing, high-scoring Uruguay. A titanic Group C clash is set to unfold on Monday. USA, Uruguay, live Monday at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
All right, guys, the news is in. You are loving MTM on CVM.
And for those who don't know, we are the Mitchells. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Tammy.
And you can come along with us on our journey every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Right here, you can see it happening on CVM TV.
Yeah, MTM man, CVM man.
See it happen, man. CVM man, MTM man, CVM man. See it happen, man. CVM man.
CVM presents Copa Facts. Uruguay. Regarded amongst the greatest footballing nations of all time, Uruguay has won the Copa America 15 times, being tied with Argentina for the most titles in the tournament's history, winning their most recent title in 2011. Additionally, Uruguay are holders of 4 FIFA-recognized World Championships. Copa America 2024, brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Courts, Sunshine Snacks.
Spurred on by the hope of securing a spot in the knockout round, Panama now has destiny in their own hands. They next face a deflated Bolivia, who will hope to salvage some pride on Monday. Can Panama begin their own Cinderella run into the Copa America?